centered. I don't know if I should do glasses or no glasses. Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Alex and I'm a current 1L in my spring semester. I'm sorry I haven't been posting lately. Big mama been getting her booty butt kicked in law school, but it's spring break. Actually, it's like the last couple days of spring break. I really didn't do much, you know what I mean? But today I wanted to make a video and share some information about law school that I wish I knew, or things that didn't really make sense to me until I actually was in law school. If you guys see me looking down, it's because I made a little note because I feel like every time I make videos and I just sit down, I start yapping. Like, I've tried to film this 3 times. This is my 3rd time trying to film it, but I just keep yapping and yapping, and y'all know I start getting real dramatic. And before I get right on the video, I want to give all my OG besties an update because I deleted my TikTok. I don't know if I'm ever going to reactivate it. Maybe, maybe not. I do have my personal TikTok that I'd be just posting, like, you know, random stuff in, but it's not going to be law school content. I want most of my law school content to be on YouTube because I feel like it's the best format for me to share information with y'all. So a couple updates.
I have a couple of updates.
Big Mama did get a summer internship job, period. I'm so excited. I'm gonna be staying in DC for the summer. That wasn't my original plan. I thought that I wanted to move to a different state, try out a new city, but this is what God has planned for me, and I'm really excited because I'm not gonna lie, guys. I don't know if it's the winter or if it's just like, you know, an adjustment period or what, but I feel like I'm not really liking DC that much. Like I said, I'm gonna give it the spring and the summer to kind of give DC a chance, but right now DC is not on my good side. You guys know, like, if you know my story, you know I've been wanting to live in DC since I was a teenager, since I was 16, 17, and now that I'm finally here, I'm like, is this what I want? Is this what I want? But I'm praying a lot about it. I'm asking God to give me some guidance on what I want to do. What and where I choose to do next summer, your 2L summer, is usually kind of indicative of like what you're gonna do, you know, when you graduate. So I really want to make sure that I'm picking the right place for me, the right job sector, you know what I mean? Other updates. Okay, this semester I'm taking con law, property, crim law, and legal writing. Of course, we're always taking legal writing. And I feel like I'm missing another one. Oh, contracts, the second half of contracts. I feel like March, for whatever reason, flew by. Wait, no, it's only March 9th, never mind. It's March 9th today, and that's like 2 months away from my last final. Scared, nervous, excited for it to end, I'm not gonna lie. Also, the sun started coming out like last week. It's super windy here though. Like, this is my first time experiencing all 4 seasons. And I don't know. Y'all know I'm a Broward baby. Like, I'm from Florida. This is very new to me, and I am still trying to decide if this is my vibe or not. You know, I saw snow for the first time and I was like, ooh, cute in theory, but after a while it's like, okay, I'm tired of this. Anyways, let's get right into the video. Recently I've been getting a lot of messages, you know, about the law school application process, and like some messages about people that are like unsure of whether they should go to law school or not. For me, I don't feel like I made the wrong decision by going to law school. The first semester was really hard. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that everything is new. No matter how much research I did when it comes to law school, I still felt like I just got thrown into the wolves, and I was just like, whoa, like, I didn't even know that there was a thing called legal writing. But I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more later. But the goal for this video is hopefully to, you know, give you guys a little bit of insight about law school and kind of like try my best to break down some law school concepts that to me was like confusing at first or just didn't make sense until I was actually in law school. And of course, if you guys have any questions or any video requests that you want me to do, leave them down below. I'm gonna try my best to make as much content as I can for y'all now that I don't do TikTok, because I love making content, but I think I want to be a little bit more professional, and I feel like with TikTok I just be yapping and talking to y'all. I'm really excited to grow my YouTube page, so like, comment, subscribe, period. First thing that I want to talk to you guys about is how to pay for law school. The most confusing thing for me when I was like getting ready to move to DC and go to law school was, how am I going to pay for this? Most of my audience are first gen or come from immigrant families like myself, so hopefully I can break this down as simply as I can.
Okay, I'm really gonna try, because it's such a, to me at least, even when I was watching like TikTok TikTok videos or like YouTube videos on it. It was still such a weird concept for me and I didn't understand it. So I'm gonna do my best to try to explain it to you as best as I can.
The first way to pay for law school is, of course, scholarships. There's a couple different types of scholarships. The first one is merit-based scholarships. Merit-based scholarships are automatically given to students based on their application, usually looking at their LSAT and or their GPA. This scholarship can come after your acceptance letter or with your acceptance letter. It just depends on the school and it depends on the type of scholarship you're gonna get. I have heard some instances where a person will apply, they get in, and you know, they would be suggested to take the LSAT again to get a higher scholarship. Like, that's not uncommon to happen. Another way to get scholarships is through need-based scholarships, and this one's a little bit different because not all schools offer it. Some schools offer need-based scholarships depending on your financial status. Usually this is another application. Once you receive your initial scholarship, what you could usually do is negotiate it. If you've gotten a couple acceptances and you've gotten some pretty good scholarships, you know, even if you haven't, it don't hurt to ask. In some cases, you can negotiate your scholarship. Like, for example, if you get a higher scholarship at another school and one school offered you a little bit less, you can leverage that to try to get the school with a lower scholarship to give you a better one. I know that my school, at least, isn't as receptive to negotiations, but I always say to shoot your shot because you never know, literally. You never know. There's also additional scholarships through the school. For example, once you get accepted, there's usually additional scholarships that you can apply for in your admitted school. I know for Howard, there's a Green Foundation scholarship where if you demonstrated a strong commitment to public interest and you do the application and they pick a couple a year, you get a full ride for 3 years. I think that's amazing, and then you get other extra opportunities on top of that. I think that's really great. These additional scholarships can come at different types of the application cycle. Some schools you can apply for it with your law school application. Some schools you have to wait until you get accepted to look at the different opportunities through the school. Another way to get scholarships, and I feel like this is a super underutilized resource, is outside scholarships. There's so many different organizations and foundations out there that are offering law school scholarships, and you just have to know where to look. And honestly, it's more of a numbers game. The more you apply, the more likely you're gonna get a scholarship. Unless you're bathing in money or you apply to so many scholarships that you get everything paid for, more times than not, you're probably gonna have to take out loans. The first type of loan you can get through FAFSA is called a direct unsubsidized loan. I believe you can take out $20,500 a year for that. Another way to get loans through FAFSA is through Direct Plus loans. So there's two different types of Direct Plus loans. I think Parent Plus and Grad Plus. Because you're a grad student, you're going into law school, you're gonna be considered an independent. So the Parents Plus probably isn't an option. I don't really know how that works, but most people I know that are taking loans are doing Grad Plus loans. So I think right now, for the 2024-2025 school year, the Grad Plus loans interest rate is 9.08%. It's a lot, okay? I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of money, a lot of interest, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Like I said, Grad Plus loans is a subcategory of Direct Plus loans. You do have to get your credit checked, but I haven't met anybody who's gotten rejected from their loan request. And the amount of loans that you can take out from Grad Plus is the max cost of attendance. So let's talk about that because this is where it got really confusing for me. So this part is kind of tricky, so please bear with me if I'm not explaining this correctly. I'm sorry, I'm really trying my best. But basically, cost of attendance is what your school says tuition plus expenses cost in the area you're living in. So for example, I go to school in DC. My school calculates cost of attendance around 70 bands, and some schools count it for 100K or more depending on the schools. How schools calculate cost of attendance is through tuition and expenses. So they look at transportation, food, expenses, rent, all of that, along with your tuition to get their cost of attendance. Okay, so for example, if your school says your cost of attendance is $15 and you get a $5 scholarship, the max amount of loans you could take out is $10. Another thing to note too is that your FAFSA application for your direct unsubsidized is a different application than your grad plus loan. So you want to make sure that when you're going through the FAFSA website, you're applying to both. So once school starts, some schools allow you to do a loan adjustment. And for example, if you show them proof that your rent is higher than what they calculated on the cost of attendance, you just have to submit some paperwork and then they gonna send that refund, period. So another example is like if your school calculated like your transportation cost for like $5 for the whole semester, but a Metro card is like $8, you just have to send proof, like a little receipt, maybe a loan adjustment form, and they're gonna send that money. Another way to get loans is through banks or through Sallie Mae. This usually has a higher interest rate compared to FAFSA, and you have to realize like FAFSA already has a very high interest rate for the unsubsidized loans and the grad plus loans, so it's even higher when you do through Sallie Mae or banks, so you just want to be super careful. Another way to pay for law school is if your parent or you yourself is in the military. I believe a GI Bill covers law school. I don't know how much. That's something that you have to, I don't know, take it up with the government. Take it up with the government, baby. I don't know. Finally, another way to pay for law school is through like employer reimbursement. I know for my old job, they offered tuition reimbursement, not just for grad school, but also for like undergrad. But if you choose to attend law school part-time, or like, I don't know if they do it for full-time, but if you're a part-time law student, definitely they're doing this. Your employer will do like a tuition reimbursement, but this has obviously caveats. Like, for example, you will have to work for them an X amount of years after law school, or they will only pay a certain amount of credits. This all depends on the company policies, so you know, look at that policy book. You never know, you might get law school paid for, okay? The next thing that I want to talk about are doctrinal classes. So no matter what law school you go to in the United States, I can't speak for schools in Canada or in Europe, but in the United States, all 1Ls are probably most likely taking the same classes as everybody else, but in different formats depending on the school that you're going to. Your doctrinal classes are like torts, civ pro, contracts, constitutional law, property, criminal law, legal writing, and legislation and regulation. With legislation and regulation, I don't know if that's like an every law school thing. If you're in law school right now and you're watching this, can you comment down below if you guys are taking leg reg your first year of law school? Like, let me know. But basically, doctrinal classes are classes that you take your 1L year. Depending on the school you go to though, the schedule might be different. For example, I know some people who went to law school in Texas and they took property their first semester, which is crazy. That's so crazy to me because, baby, property is hard. Property is difficult. Another difference when it comes to doctrinal classes is, besides like which semester you're taking it, is also the length of the class. So for example, I think some schools, their contracts class is only 1 semester. With my law school, we're taking contracts class fall and spring semester. With law school classes, like the concepts are generally the same, but the way it's taught to you is completely different because of the professor. Like the way we learn torts and civ pro is different from how people learn torts and civ pro in another cohort or another section in our school. Do y'all remember when I was mentioning legal writing at the beginning of this video? Let me say this. If I had known that legal writing was a class, like that wasn't something that people was talking about when I was watching cute little law school vlogs or like little TikTok videos or like going on the internet doing my little research. Like, no, I feel like maybe I was just deaf and I wasn't listening or what, but I don't feel like anybody spoke about legal writing. And honestly, if I would have known that legal writing is a thing and like what it actually entails, I probably wouldn't have gone to law school. Legal writing is really, really hard. No, I'm just playing. Like, I'm still gonna go to law school, but I'm just like, dang, like, you gotta
prep them for shit like that. They can't just get that shit right off the top.
Okay, let me calm down. Do y'all see what happens once I start rambling? Like, I start yapping and yapping, and that's why I try to do a little script so I don't go off base. But I'm trying to be professional for y'all. Like, I'm really trying to be professional, but it's so hard because all I do is get off track and start yapping. Legal writing is also very subjective depending on the school that you go to. So at Howard, We have 3 classes our first semester of law school just for legal writing and research. And I think a lot of this extraness at Howard is because Howard prides itself in creating really great legal writers. So I'm very thankful for that. But when I first heard about it, I was like, well, this wasn't on my original schedule. Like, nobody told me about this. Okay, so our first semester of law school, we had 3 classes just for legal writing and research, right? So the first class is the actual legal writing class where, like, you know, they teach us how to write, they give us the assignments, And then the second class, and this is all like we meet once a week. The second class is taught by a 3L, like a dean's fellow or like someone who is really good at legal writing, and they teach you how to cite, like how you do in a blue book, like how to cite cases and stuff. That was a whole class, y'all. And I know some other law schools where nobody taught them how to cite. It's kind of just like, go get a blue book, figure it out, follow the directions. I'm like, woo. Yeah. And our third class is a research class where like we're taught how to do research, how to organize our research, I love my research class personally because I have a really great professor, but yo, like it's just like extra work on top of the extra work on top of the extra work, girl, like woo. So when you're taking your doctrinal classes, everything is super conceptual because you know, like you're just learning law school concepts. But in legal writing, like you're learning how to write, and it's like an actionable skill that you're constantly getting good at. So I think that's really great. So far in legal writing, like we've learned how to do neutral analysis. Right now we're doing persuasive writing, which is so exciting to me. On this semester we're gonna do oral arguments. Like, ooh, how fun is that? Like, I'm so excited. Finally, and probably my most important point this video is the importance of networking. Like, first and foremost, grades. Like, grades will get you through the door, but there's so much value in networking, but you truly need to be careful and intentional when you approach it. And I'm gonna tell y'all what I mean by that. Let's be honest, like sometimes when somebody says networking, you're thinking, oh, you're just kissing, you're just trying to saw somebody up to get you a job. But no, I think networking is so much more than that. First things first, when you're networking, you want to be super intentional and genuine. What I mean by intentional and genuine is you kind of need to know why you're networking. Like, is this because I want to get a job? Is this because I want to talk to a lawyer and learn more about their field? Is it because I just want to show face? You know, it depends. For me personally, when I was networking my first semester of law school, my approach was I'm going to use networking to learn more about other lawyers' practices so that I can figure out what I like and what I don't like. So when I'm networking with these lawyers, what I'm trying to find out is what they do, and if it's something that interests me, what does their day-to-day look like? Like, how did they get into this sector of law? Because there's so many different types. If you're in law school and you don't have a lot of legal experience, networking with lawyers will give you a better understanding of what you want your career to look like once you graduate. Another goal of mine when networking is to find a mentor. So when you're looking for a mentor, you don't just say, oh, I'm looking for a mentor. Like, no, that's not how that works. You want to see what type of connections you're building with people and like who you really have that genuine spark with, right? So I already have a hustle mentor. We're great, locked in, love you, girl. I have a life mentor. I have like an undergrad mentor. Like, mentor-mentee relationship to me is so important because that's the person you go to for the stupid questions. You feel me? That's the person that will really tell you how it is. When it comes to networking and finding your mentor, of course, you gotta build that bond and that connection. Another thing about networking that I noticed when speaking to my friends and my classmates is that you really cannot take networking personally. Like, at the end of the day, business is business. Like, if somebody ghosts you, if somebody doesn't show up to lunch or like a coffee date that y'all have where they miss a little Zoom meeting, like, don't let it bother you. Lawyers ghost you. One, you cannot take it personally because these people are likely very effing busy. They got a lot of stuff going on at work, and sometimes meeting with a law student is not their top priority. Okay, my camera's about to die, so I have to be really quick. But basically, when it comes to networking, it's definitely quality over quantity. You know, networking is about building relationships, for your career. And while it's good to meet as much people as you can and learn from as much people as you can, it's also important to pick the ones where you have a real genuine connection with and that you know will be invested into what you're doing, so that you can keep them updated, or you can ask them for help when it comes time to like do mock interviews or like look over your resume. Like, you want to find those couple people that you could really like, you know, click with and try to build that relationship with them. Okay, my battery is about to die. My camera's a little crooked, but I just want to say thank you guys for thugging it out with me. If you watch until the end of the video, leave a little heart emoji, okay, for all my TikTok besties especially. But I hope this was useful for you guys, and if you guys have any additional questions or any video requests, comment them down below and I will do my best to try to make them for you. Okay, bye besties.